Hello and welcome to the home of the Ghost Owl, and we're beginning another new series for Warhammer the Old World, where we're going to take a look at each of the factions' events around the timeline of the Old World. Now, we know from Games Workshop for a fact that the timeline of the Old World is set just before the Chaos invasion of Asavar Kul, which was at the beginning of the 24th century of the Imperial Calendar, around about 2302, and we have seen an image of the of a date engraved into a picture which says 2275. So we know the Old World is going to be set in the 23rd century of the Imperial Calendar, and most likely in that period of 2250 up to the 2302 period. So the aim of these videos that we're going to cover of the different factions is going to show the events of the 23rd and 24th centuries, just to give people a flavour of essentially what's going on with that faction around that time. So without further ado, we're going to be starting with Bretonnia. So let's take a look at the Bretonnian faction events timeline. So this is taken from the 8th edition Army Book. What we haven't done is gone around all the internet, all the resources, Warhammer wikis, everything else. What I've done is I've taken it directly from the 8th edition Army Books, and in Bretonnia's case, the last edition Army Book they had, which has essentially the Games Workshop timeline in it. So we can see in 2201, at the beginning of the 23rd century, King Lewin Orcslayer declares an errantry war to rid Bretonnia of orcs. Countless of these creatures are put to the sword, and their blood stains the earth. And then jumping nearly 100 years to 2297. So this likely set around 20 years after the date that we've seen on the image of the Old World logo, the affair of the False Grail, in which Duke Maldred of Mousillon and his sorceress consort are dishonoured. Mousillon is formally disgraced, and no duke has since been appointed to govern this dukedom. And then 3 years later, 2300, in this year, nearly all the people of Mousillon perish of the red pox. Duke Maldred and his ladies shut themselves within their palace, but to no avail. 2320, the cursed Skaven make raids upon the western ports. The king orders the duke's fleets to be strengthened, and he grants them monies to aid the construction of better ships. And then in 2336, a man emerges from the forest of Lauren, claiming to be Duke Melmon of Quenelles. Within hours, he ages dramatically and dies within the day. And that is all of the events that took place in the 23rd and 24th centuries for Bretonnia in their army book. And what we can see, by and large, a lot of the factions, there is not a lot going on from the army book timelines during this period, and so you can see why Games Workshop will have chosen this as essentially a new period to focus on. So I'm sure there will be a lot more events to come, but these are the official timeline events that you will find in the army books for the factions. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't know, give it a thumbs down and let me know why in the comments down below. And as always, if you want to see more content, please hit that subscribe button. It's free for you to do, means a huge amount for me, so thank you for that in advance. You've been watching The Ghost Owl. Tune back in and find out what events are happening in our next faction.